And with breaking news right now at 5, 5 former Memphis police officers involved in the arrest of a motorist who later died turned themselves into authorities today.
Yeah, this incident sparked national outrage. Those officers face several charges now, ranging from murder to kidnapping. And tomorrow evening, Memphis police will release video of the traffic stop that led to Tyre Nichols' death. CBS correspondent Elise Preston walks us through what happened.
The Shelby County District Attorney announced criminal charges, including second-degree murder, against 5 former Memphis police officers involved in a traffic stop that led to the death of Tyre Nichols.
The actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyre Nichols, and they are all responsible.
The 5 officers who were fired last week following an internal Memphis Police Department probe surrendered to authorities Thursday.
Let me be clear. What happened here does not at all reflect proper policing. This was wrong. This was criminal.
Authorities plan to make public body camera video of the officer's encounter with the 29-year-old on January 7th. His family saw the video earlier this week.
All I heard my son say was, "What did I do?" Where's the humanity in all of this?
The Memphis police chief issued a statement late Wednesday urging protesters to remain peaceful and saying the department's investigation is ongoing.
This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane.
Nichols was a father, FedEx worker, and avid skateboarder. His funeral is planned for next week. Elise Preston, CBS News, Memphis, Tennessee.
Welcome to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Lex. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. I appreciate you supporting the brand. You know what I'm trying to do with this. I'm at about 27 subs right now. I'd like to get to 100, then 500, then 1,000, 2,000. You know how this goes. So I really and truly appreciate you helping me to build this brand out. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. I am your host, Jay Lex. I appreciate you guys being patient, for those of you who've been listening. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I was supposed to start doing episodes after the new year. Excuse me. But I ended up having this weird, seemed like cold that lasted forever. I just don't know why. This chest cold that just lasted. And I'm still kind of getting over it, but I think I'm to the point where I can do it now. Back in like early to mid-January, it was just really, really bad. It just seemed to be nonstop. And then it stopped for a little bit, and then it came back even stronger the second time. I really don't know why it was doing this, but I've taken care of myself. Obviously vitamins, things along those lines. You guys know all the rest. I just want to say thank you very much for being patient with me. Hopefully this goes away soon, even though it's still kind of here, but nevertheless, I'm back to living my life, and I'm back to recording episodes. So thank you again for everybody who pays attention to this show. Obviously, we know that the big news out here, unfortunately, was the execution of Tyre Hill out in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. A young man who seemingly, as far as I know, had no criminal background. Just very unfortunate. We've all seen the video. They put the video out there. It's very sad what happened, mid-January. I kind of missed it a little bit. January 7th is when it happened. It kind of went over my head, I guess because I was sick, and I kind of missed. I don't really watch too much of the mainstream news, but I really missed this, and I'm saddened by it. This is a guy who wasn't even 30 yet, with the rest of his life to live, and was brutally murdered by a bunch of cops, by 5 cops actually. And from the rumors that I'm hearing, it had to deal with some baby mama drama, or Tyre Hill was doing one of the cops' baby's mamas, and the cop found out. I forget which cop it is. And he basically called the other goons, and they went and they basically executed this young man, and then tried to make it seem like he was resisting, beat him to death, and Even though I'm not big on all types of surveillance and things along those lines, it was a camera from above that caught them actually committing this heinous crime, disgusting crime. And they've all been brought up on second-degree murder charges, as they should, and they should face prison for the rest of their lives. I mean, personally, I like to see them, get the death penalty, but I don't know what the laws are in Tennessee for the death penalty and everything like that. Let's see. I got the cops' names here. Bean, they don't give me his first name. I'm sorry. Tadarius Bean, 24. We've got Demetrius Haley, 30. Let's see if I can get the other cops' names here. We've got Emmett Martin III, 30. We've got Desmond Mills Jr., 32. There should be one more. Give me 1 second. And we have Justin Smith, 28. Each of them was released on different charges. I mean, Bean, I'm going back here. Bean was released on $250,000 bond. Haley was released on $350,000 bond. Emmett Martin was released on $350,000. Desmond Mills Jr. $250,000 and Justin Smith $250,000. All around the 26th or the 27th of January. I know I'm saying a lot, but it's just really sad to see that these are 5 black police officers, by the way. So the media out here playing the whole racial thing about it, like let's stop right now. These are 5 black men who attacked another black man, supposedly over some baby mama drama. I haven't confirmed that yet. I haven't found anything yet. But nevertheless, Tyre Nichols, will never come back. I believe he had children, if memory serves me correctly. He will never be a father to those children again. What these guys did was disgusting, was reprehensible. And like I said, we already know that they're guilty. I don't even think there should be a trial. I think we should go straight to sentencing, and I think they should get the death penalty. But once again, we have these laws. We're going to waste a bunch of time. They're going to, do bond. They're going to, plead guilty to something. Maybe they plead guilty to something less if they rat on each other. Who knows how this is going to play out? Clearly, this is a disgusting situation. And what it does is, for those good police officers out there who do their job, day in and day out, they don't ask for any attention. They risk their lives for the public. This will put another black eye on them. And they don't deserve that. Because I know a couple police officers myself. Good people. Men, women. They have families. They simply want to go to work, protect the community, and go home. And instead, you're gonna see more and more people out here, because you see videos all the time of people just being rude to police officers, not being cooperative, stirring shit up with them. And we shouldn't have this. We should not have this. There should be some type of, I've said this before, I remember back when I was younger, growing up, there was always these outreach programs. Cops would come into the schools, the elementary schools. They would talk to the students. They would interact with them. I don't know when they stopped doing this. Because what do? You build a rapport, you build trust, you build a relationship. Might be a little bit different in major cities because there's so many people. But at some point, even if it's New York City or Philadelphia or any of these places, we see where crime is right now. Crime is rampant right now. You can look through the YouTube shorts. Every time there's one of these stupid songs, I don't know what it's called. What up? Every single time we're seeing students, or we're seeing young people in particular, teenagers, in shootouts, robbing stores. We've seen the famous one. There was a Wawa, I think it was a Philadelphia, if memory serves me correctly, where the young woman's at the counter trying to get a sandwich, and you got a bunch of other young kids just running around, stealing everything. Excuse me. We could talk about the parents and everything along those lines, but if you had cops who were in the community that people trusted, look, you're not going to stop all criminality. We are human beings. There are different circumstances. Some of these kids are just little bastards running around stealing stuff. But If you have cops in the community that people trust, they can go to them. The parents can go to them. Talk to them. Say, hey, can you talk to my kid? If you have trust with somebody, in particular somebody of an authoritative, who is an authoritative figure, you can build that trust. You can build that rapport where you're not just looking at each other, as enemies. I had it growing up. I remember the area I used to live in. There was a lot of drugs and things along those lines growing up. You would see, crack pipes and all this other stuff on the ground at the local park. And you know what they did? They cleaned things up. They had cops during the summer, especially. They'd have them on like ATVs. They'd have them on, ATVs riding around. You would have conversations with them. They would tell you what they did. You got to see their faces. There's this massive disconnect between the police force and the rest of the community. I know, like, as an example, New York City lost a lot of cops because they were tired of working in NYPD. They weren't getting paid enough. So they would, after 2 or 3 years, go to places like Seattle that would pay them significantly more, especially early on. Now you just have high turnover. It's like being at a corporate gym or something like that. It's just high turnover. You need people who can stay in these communities, build rapport with people over a generation or so, talk to them. Hey, stop doing this, stop doing that. There's not enough outreach programs. Now, these cops are clearly outliers, these 5 thugs. But I'm not one of these people who's going to say every cop is a quote-unquote pig. Because not every cop is. And that's not fair. That's like saying anybody who wears a hoodie is a criminal. You wouldn't want that. Remember, that's what got Trayvon Martin killed by that idiot, Zimmerman. He looked like a thug. That's what got him killed. Stupidity. On the part of George Zimmerman. Punk ass. We have to build trust. And look, I know some of the police departments now, they're trying to train officers different and things along those lines. But it's also up to these police departments to start weeding out and calling out. I know that there's this code of silence amongst police officers, unless they get special permission from like NYPD or wherever else, that they can't talk. That if they talk ill of a police officer, somehow it's a bad thing, or they get demoted, or they get looked bad upon. We have to be able to have these conversations, and those police officers should be able to say, this person's good, this person's not so much, without it becoming, this endless, thing where you're building enemies. You have to be able to do this openly, whether it's social media, whether it's in traditional media. Call out the men and women who are bad at their jobs. Get them out of there. That's how you start to build a rapport. That's why so many people don't trust the goddamn police. You want people trusting the police more? Start weeding out the bad ones. Look, there's always going to be ones who get in there and want to do a good job, and then they turn around and they start doing some illegal things. Like, that's just human nature. It is what it is. But you as the police force needs to call out those people. Put them on Front Street. So that the rest of you, including the ones that I know well, aren't sitting there having to take a bunch of shit from people because they don't trust them. That's how you build a rapport. That's how you get things moving along. That's how you get people trusting again. To get rid of things like the quotas on tickets. Yeah, I know it generates money for the towns and the municipalities. I get it. But stop putting these quotas out there so that cops are unnecessarily stopping people. I've been stopped a couple times. So that they can fill a ticket quota for the month. That's part of the reason they dislike people, dislike police officers in general. How many times have you been stopped over some nonsense and you just have to eat a ticket? I had to eat a ticket recently. I was driving on a highway doing 55, had a cop, no lights on, waved me down, talking about I was doing 70 and a 55. I wasn't going to argue with him. I had to get to work, my old job at the time. You know how agitated I was? I had to finally say that I was guilty because they wanted me to come back to court. Then the pandemic hit, the whole bit. I had to pay over $200 for a speeding ticket when I wasn't actually speeding. I know now in the future I'm just going to send a lawyer to handle it. It's crazy. I remember a state trooper waves his hands, does his hands to bring me over. I'm thinking, does he need me for something? How fast were you going, sir? I said I was doing about 55. He said, no, you're doing 70. I said, okay, this is a shakedown. You need to get rid of things like that. Now, like I said before, it was early in the morning. I had to get to my old job, so I wasn't going to argue with him. He said he had it on his, the gun that they have. The guy was in front of me, spun around, stopped myself and somebody else, didn't hit his lights. I don't have any evidence of this. I'm just telling you the story. I couldn't go into court arguing that. So I had to bite the bullet. $200 plus court fees. And I didn't even go to court. You know what I'm saying? Little bullshit like that needs to stop. That's how you build trust in the community. That's how you build trust amongst people. Can you imagine what could have happened on that road? Nobody, this is the day after Thanksgiving. Nobody else is on the road but myself and this other person who I didn't know. What if I did argue with the cop? Could have arrested me if he wanted to. Little bullshit like that has to stop. We have to at some point, or I should say y'all have to at some point figure this shit out. The little things like that agitate people. Life is hard enough. People don't want to be bothered. You can't have bullshit like this. The police departments around this country need to figure out who the bad apples are and get them out of there. Take their pensions. For the ones who are doing illegal things, throw them in jail. Instead of protecting them until something like this happens. Could you imagine what it would have been like if there wasn't an additional camera? I forget exactly where the camera was, but was up where it was, and you just had the body cam footage. It would look like the guy was resisting arrest. And these guys would have walked off scot-free, continuing to terrorize the neighborhood. Because this is not the first time they've done this. There's no goddamn way. And it's 5 of them, which means that they've done this on at least, if I had to guess, half a dozen occasions. Because they got it down packed. This is just the one that got them caught up. And they ran out of luck. We have to, these police departments have to make these changes. You know who the bad ones are for the most part. Put them on Front Street and get them out of here. If you don't, you're going to continue to have problems. And people are not going to trust you, and they're not going to help you out when crimes happen, and everything along those lines. I could go on for the next 45 minutes about this. But there's another aspect of this that I wanted to talk about. Jason Whitlock, formerly of ESPN, Fox Sports, used to be on Fox Sports. I think he does Fox News periodically. Has his own show now on YouTube. There's a clip here where he's on Tucker Carlson, where he's talking about single motherhood being a big problem in the black community. I'm going to play the clip, then I'm going to come back and comment.
And this is a story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected or put some black woman in charge of the police force. And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time, because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not. It's the breakdown of family and the buying in to all these left-wing things that have nothing to do with promoting family.
Okay, this is actually the first time that I've heard these comments. Let's be clear about something. I'm going to be on another show tonight called The Beef Show on the Sports Hit List. I'm going to be talking about this very topic. Like I said, this is the first time I saw this. Look, is he wrong that there has been a breakdown in the family? A lot of single mothers. I think the number's around 75 or 80%. He's not, he could be right and wrong at the same time. So is he wrong about that? No. We all know that there's a lot of single mothers out here. I'm not saying they're all bad. Most of them are very good. They raise their children, but you do need a male figure in the household. No question. Unless the male figure's terrible. It doesn't have to be the biological father, but you need a male figure nevertheless. But what that has to do with this, they're not the same thing. Okay? These are 5 men, whether they grew up in a single parent household or not, has nothing to do with the fact that these men were out of pocket. If the rumors are true, that it was about some baby mama that this guy Nichols was dealing with. They made their choices. These aren't 10-year-olds. These are 20-plus-year-old men, and in most of the cases, 30-plus-year-old men, 30 and over, who made the decision to go after some guy for no reason whatsoever that we know of. Like I said, the rumor's out there. It's unconfirmed. Jason Whitlock is wrong for bringing up the single motherhood. Jason Whitlock is wrong for talking about the head of the police being a woman. We don't know her attributes. We don't know her accomplishments. We don't know how she runs that department. This has nothing to do with single motherhood. This has to do with 5 jackasses who decided to go on essentially a killing spree, or not a killing spree, or they eventually did kill that man, but decided to abuse their power and then tried to hide it. Like I said before, if it wasn't for the surveillance cameras around, we would have all thought this guy was resisting and they had to use excessive force. Jason Whitlock is wrong in that situation. He's not wrong about the single mother and the breakdown of the family and everything along those lines. This is not some quasi-political thing. This is 5 black men acting a goddamn fool. And I know him and Sierra went back and forth and everything along those lines. I get it. He's a provocateur. He's saying something provocative to get people to watch his show. You know, he's a conservative, quote unquote. I get all of that. But being a single mother, whether or not they were raised by a single mother, has no bearing on the fact that these 5 idiots went out of their way to get that man, if the rumors are true, or for whatever reason they went after him. These 5 morons, these 5 jackasses were out of pocket in the way that they acted. Don't blame single mothers for that. Don't blame single mothers for a bunch of idiots who should have known better. And they should have known better. They should have known that you don't act like this. They should have known they shouldn't allow their emotions to get the best of them. Okay? Because even if it was the one guy, I believe it was Bean who called it in, tells the other 4 guys, yo, there's this guy, blah, 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 whatever the case might be. The other 4 guys could have made a decision and said, yo, you bugging right now. Or why are we doing this? Or whatever the case might be. Whether we're friends or not, whether we've been on the force together long enough or not, whatever the case might be. There were 5 individuals, one calls you. You don't just ride with them like that. You got to ask questions. In particular, when you're going over to whip somebody's ass. Where was the common sense? Where was somebody to sit there and be like, yo, this doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this? Huh? Let's not blame the single mother, the single parent home thing. Is a completely and totally different argument, and it does not work in this case. Is he right about it? Yes, but it doesn't work in this case. He had 5 assholes who decided to abuse their power. I hope they get the needle, to be honest with you. They earned whatever verdict, as long as it's a guilty verdict, and life in prison, and everything else that comes along with it. They're gonna be fresh meat for those who are in the prison system. Let's not blame single mothers on this one, Mr. Whitlock. Let's not blame single mothers for 5 jackasses who don't know how to act. There was another story I wanted to talk about quickly, and then I have 2 lighter stories I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk quickly about Ed Reed, who used to be the coach, who was a Hall of Famer, used to play for the Baltimore Ravens. He was a safety. Went to the Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Famer. And took the job at Bethman Cookman, historically black college. Give me 1 second here. Thought I had it here. Maybe I'll bring it up. But became the coach there, and about 30 days later was no longer the coach because he started calling out some of the foolishness that was going on at the university or college. I don't know what their designation is. It's not all in front of me right now. But nevertheless, ended up losing his job because he called out the university for a lot of the things that were going on. We've talked about this previously. We talked about Jackson State. We talked about the foolishness that was going on at Texas Southern. And now we have a third, HBCU, where, is this it? I think I found it, yes. Where, once again, you have people who are paying to go to college and who are essentially be given less than. Like we've had this argument previously. If you pay to go to a school, if you pay to go to university, whatever the case might be, you should not accept anything less than excellent. You should accept nothing less than excellent. And I'm going to play some of this clip here, and then we'll come back to it.
This the back of the building. They working on the front of the building. This the same people said, we going to help you build what you want. How I'm going to believe you, man? How I'm going to believe them? Didn't I tell you I don't trust nobody? I'm coming over giving them the same passion, and they smiling and laughing in my... It ain't funny. We gonna ride through the fence they ain't fixed the fence. We about to ride through this fence. This ain't even football side. This ain't even the football side. And y'all talking about Madden at my Uncle Prime. Y'all mad at Dion, mad at Prime. This shit is every HBCU.
You hear this?
Bro, we riding through the fence. This is track, bro. This is track. This is what they practice on. It's a straightaway. This is intramural field. You can't practice on this. These kids got this to work with. Trash. Yeah, I'm showing it. At this point, I gotta show this. I'm not even the head coach. Congratulations. Man, I should go my ass home. I said I should. I ain't. It ain't happening.
Oh, sorry.
Building. Y'all see these buildings right here? You see these buildings right here? Y'all see these buildings right here? This corner? Y'all see this right here? This here? This shit is abandoned right here. They're hoarding trash in this shit. All this right here is trash. From this corner all the way right here is trash. You understand me? Man, mutt your ass off here, man. What you talking about? I ain't mutting nobody. I'm trying to fix shit. What you doing? I told you somebody ain't gonna like it, bro. I told you somebody wasn't gonna like it. Do something about it, man. Come help us clean this shit up. I could have been mutting and showing shit. I chose not to. But now I'm out here walking with the football team, picking up trash. But I'm mutting us. Man, get out of here, man. I should leave. I'm not even under contract doing this. I'm mutting us? Man, get out of here, man. They mutt me. These motherfuckers ain't even clean my goddamn office when I got here. I'm mutting y'all? Get your ass, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All this shit here was trash in front of me. Who you think got this shit cleared out? That building right there got trash in it. It's trash. What are you talking about? Need no god donors to come out and help out, cause people just want money. That's why I don't fuck with social network. Fuck out of here, man.
Woo! Y'all heard the clip. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. I remember I never went to an HBCU, but I told y'all. Did I not? Now, we have a moron. No, excuse me, not a moron. I'm gonna get to a Roland Martin clip here. Give me 1 second. I'm not a Roland Martin fan, but I thought this was interesting. What did I say when y'all got mad at Deion Sanders? What did I say when y'all got mad at Deion Sanders? The only difference is Deion Sanders didn't go around campus riding around showing everything. But y'all want to get mad at him for going to Boulder. Dr. Umar Johnson wants to get mad at Deion Sanders for going to Boulder. All these other black intellectuals want to get mad at Deion Sanders for going to Boulder. Excuse me. But y'all don't want to get mad at these universities who take people's money and don't fix up anything, or who take people's money and expect you to deal with less. Is it always about the struggle, black people? I ask you. At some point, are you not supposed to level up? That's all I hear on social media. level up, do better, level up. But then when somebody like Deion Sanders has to come out of pocket every single time, and then they don't want to pay him additionally, 60,000 people in the football stadium, 28,000 tickets sold, even though at 30 he's supposed to get a percentage of ticket sales to offset. Some of y'all get mad and call him a coon or a sellout. When does the struggle mentality stop? When I hear people who formerly go to some of these HBCUs talk about how this was a struggle, that was a struggle, I couldn't get my financial aid on time, etc., and they laugh about it, it's sad. This ain't a public high school. These are public and private universities that you pay money or go into debt for to attend. I'm hearing things like mold and things along those lines. Would you accept that at your place of employment? Would you accept that at the gym that you go to if you found out about it? Health code violations, etc. And some of you will sit there, and I'm going to get in trouble for this one, and you will sit there and act as if somehow this is normal. You will sit there in your goddamn feelings and act as if this is okay. Somehow this is endearing. Fuck that. I pay to go to school here. I'm not saying this shit has to be perfect, but why should I settle for less? I heard Dr. Umar Johnson on the Breakfast Club talk about by 2030, half of the HBCUs will be closed. Goodbye. Plenty of other private universities are closing down right now because everybody's going online. It happens. My wife's school, because of misappropriation of funds, I talked about it before, has closed down. Had to close down. College of Monroe out in New Rochelle had to close down. I don't know specifically why they had to close down. Probably the same thing. I mean, it's usually the same exact thing. At what point do people of color, people who go to these universities, stop with the struggle mentality? It's always about the uphill climb. It's never about getting to the top. You want these HBCUs to survive? Start making changes. This is now the second prominent Hall of Fame NFL player who has either left or, in the case of Ed Reed, I believe he was let go. I don't think he was even under contract yet. When does the BS stop? Now, give me 1 second here. Like I said before, I have a Roland Martin clip. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'm going to come back. All right, here's the clip of Bethune-Cookman. I pronounced it wrong previously. But I'm going to play this clip for you from Roland Martin, unfiltered, and then I'm going to come back and comment some more.
All right, folks, my producer reached out to Bethune-Cookman board president, board chair, a retired judge, Belvin Perry Jr., and this is what he said before he hung up on her. He said, pull it up, please. He said, quote, "I will not come on with Roland Martin, who has been telling a one-sided story with students who have been put up to this by Charles W. Cherry II, a disbarred attorney, and Johnny McCray Jr., who was president of the Old Alumni Association. I'm done. Goodbye." Board President Perry, you are lying. Let me be fundamentally clear. You are lying. You, as a retired judge, should know better. You can't say I've been telling a one-sided story when the first guest we had on the show on Monday was interim president Lawrence Drake. He literally was first. He was followed by Ed Reed, who told his story. He was followed by 3 football players. He was followed by McCray, who leads the Alumni Association that y'all dissolved. And yes, we had Cherry. We then followed that up on yesterday, talking with other alumni, as well as the student government president, the student government vice president, Miss Bethune-Cookman-elect, Mr. Bethune-Cookman-elect. And then we had 5 students on today. We also have made calls to several board members, and none of y'all will answer your phones or come on the show. And so how can you say it's a one-sided story when you won't even come on? So first, you lied. And then if you say that, oh, here's the other thing you lied about. You said that these students were being put up by Cherry. Again, President Board Chair Perry, you are lying. I received emails, not from Cherry, not from McCray, but directly from the students. They emailed me saying, please, can we come on? So how can you say that they're putting the students up when the students are reaching out to me directly? When you have staff members of Bethune-Cookman who are reaching out to me directly? When you have alumni of Bethune-Cookman who are reaching out to me directly? When you have parents of Bethune-Cookman who are reaching out to me directly? Well, I need to understand, Board Chair Perry, how in the hell am I talking to more students, faculty, staff, and alumni of Bethune-Cookman than you are, and you are the board chair? So maybe instead of lashing out at black-owned media and hanging the phone up, why don't you, board chair Perry, have the courage and the guts to speak to your constituents and not hide behind your title? Because what I will not allow for you to do is besmirch my name or the integrity of this show. You cannot suggest, and you would know if you were a judge, and if somebody lied in your courtroom, you will either say overruled or sustained. And the fact of the matter is, you cannot say it's one-sided when your own president has come on this show. Your own president, Board Chair Perry, has invited me to come visit Bethune-Cookman again. And I will gladly travel to Daytona Beach with my cameras and see the campus for myself. The question is, are you going to allow him to accept or follow through on the invitation? Let me bring in my board.
Woo! I'm not a Roland Martin fan, but he's 100% correct here. When do these chairs, when do these advisors or whomever it is have to not stand trial, but have to face the consequences of their inactions? When does the HBCU system turn over? When do you clean out the trash that exists at these institutions of higher learning? Once again, you are not going there for free. You pay to be there. There is no free college in the United States of America that I'm familiar with. And I don't know how much it costs to go to Bethune-Cookman, but at what point do people say enough is enough? It's always about the struggle. You wouldn't accept this at a restaurant. You would not accept this at your local gym. You would not accept this at most other institutions or places. Why are we accepting mediocrity or subpar conditions at places that you pay for? Bethune-Cookman eventually let Ed Reed go. I think every one of those student athletes and the students in general should leave. Like I said before, things change, times change. Okay, I think it's 2030. They're saying half of the HBCUs might be gone. So what? They're not doing nothing for anybody anyway. When does it stop? When does mediocrity stop? in the black community. God damn it. And then when a guy like me comes around and says these things, you have the audacity to get mad. And I'm not even that big yet. You're quick to use shaming tactics to try to attack somebody like me. Or anybody else for that matter. You went after primetime Coach Sanders. He took Jackson State from something nobody spoke about to 2 undefeated seasons and bowl games, bringing in revenue. And then when he said enough is enough and he up and did the dip, you called him names. Because somehow he was supposed to save the HBCU system. You can't save a corrupt system. Look at the United States government. You have to clean house and rebuild the foundation. In this case, the administrations. I don't know how many flipping times I can say this. You can have undefeated teams in every single sport. You can bring in trillions of dollars in revenue. It means nothing when the people at the top are corrupt and are not putting it back into the system, back into the college, back into the university. And until that changes, there is nothing you can do. You can be handed a gajillion dollars. Ed Reed told you what was going on. It's not the only HBCU. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them seem to have problems. You want to save these quote-unquote black institutions? Start by clearing out the trash. And I'm not talking about the trash that's in these buildings. I'm talking about the trash who run it. All right. I have a couple additional stories here I'll go through quickly. A little bit of a lighter note before we end the show. I don't want to, go too crazy about it, but nevertheless, the first one is a story I saw in the New York Post about some TikToker. Let me find it. Who is, where is it? Who said that she's dropping dating apps, and she is going to the Home Depot to try to meet a man. Hold on a second. Here it is. Single women. Hold on, let me get the article up here. Basically what it's saying is single women are shopping for husband material at the Home Depot. Come on, ladies. Is it that hard out here? Let me read some of the beginning of the article. All the single ladies are going into a shopping spree at Home Depot, vying for a chance to be an eligible bachelor among the aisles of hardwood, screwdrivers, and nails. The women of TikTok have discovered the perfect spot to window shop for single men. Deleting the dating apps in 2023, content creator Tyre Nichols said, advised in a clip of over 24,000 views, I'm headed to the Home Depot to look confused in the lumber aisle. There's more to it. I'm not going to get too much into it. But ladies, it's 2023. Most of these single men are on to whatever strategies it is that you use to land them. Mostly because you put it up on social media. See, there's no more secrets. I've talked about this before. There are no more secrets. Most of these men who are going to go in there, they're going to be very nice to you. Oh, I can help you with this, help you with that. Whether it's the gym, whether it's Home Depot, whether it's the supermarket, people don't really go to libraries anymore, wherever it is. Most of these young men know your secrets. You guys put everything out there. You talk about your body count. You talk about how, you don't need a man, this, that, and the other. So now a lot of these men have come to realize it's a lot easier just to hire somebody. I know that I'm not supposed to say that, I know that's not what you want to hear, but here's the reality. Most of these young men really don't have the time for you. I know it's a harsh reality. I know some of you will be mad about that. I know most of you are going to end up alone. I know it's hard for you to believe that. It's hard for you to understand that. A lot of you, some of you, are beautiful women who are single. You don't understand why you're single. The Godfather, Kevin Samuels, kept trying to tell y'all. In fact, go and look up clips of Kevin Samuels. Not only the interviews that he did where he got sometimes rude to people and things along that, but listen to some of the clips where he's talking to y'all. I won't even use the word submissive. I'll just use the word cooperative. That's what most men want in a relationship. They want a woman who's cooperative. Somewhat submissive, but not really all that submissive, because everybody is independent and does their own thing, can do their own thing for the most part. They want somebody who is cooperative, somebody who's not going to argue with them. The last thing that a man needs after a long day at the job, whether they're entrepreneurs or whether they work for somebody, is to come home and listen to some woman complaining about some nonsense that they don't care about, whether it's somebody at the office you don't like, whether it's something that the toilet seats up, or whatever it is. Most men, throughout the annals of time, but in particular today, do not want the stress. We are in a mental health time, and one of the biggest stressors for a man is an unruly woman. That's not saying you can't ever talk to your man. That's not ever saying, you can't disagree with him or you're not going to get into arguments. Not everything is paradise. You know what I'm saying? Not everything is the honeymoon period. Eventually that fades. But the last thing that a man needs is a woman in his ear complaining about some BS. When in the grand scheme of things, it's insignificant. They talk about the toilet seat thing. If you are too stupid to look down before you sit on the toilet, then you deserve to fall in. It's the truth. It's the God's honest truth. And a lot of the younger men today, some of the passport bros, guys along those lines, most of these guys want to either be married or be in a relationship, but why would they deal with the stress in particular of a Western woman? Tim Samuels told you this, and when he passed, a lot of you broads, you celebrated, you were happy, you thought it was over. He was just the tip of the iceberg. All he did was bring it to the forefront. And now those men are taking some of those skills and they're going elsewhere. Some of the happiest women I know, even though their relationships will never be perfect, have children, might work part-time, might work full-time, have a partner who they love and care for. The ideals of yesteryear no longer apply today. Some of you are single mothers by multiple men. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I really don't care. But a lot of these younger men today aren't trying to sit here and play daddy to children that aren't theirs. Some of you women want to date somebody who doesn't have children, you won't date somebody who has children, even though you have children of your own. Some of you, not all of you. You're difficult to deal with. And you have to sit there and say, well, you either accepts me as is or he doesn't accept me at all. Well, guess what? He's not accepting you at all. And now you're having to use tactics like playing stupid in Home Depot and other places to get a man's attention. And when you don't get his attention, what do? You first claim, I'm Miss Independent, I'm this, that, and the other. And then what happens? You jump up on your phone and you sit in your car. It's so hard out here. I'm 40 and I'm single and I have no children and I don't have any prospects of having children. And you sit there and you cry. Or you try to rebrand yourself, whether it's in the church or was it a Brittany Renner? putting all your business out there. Now you're 30 with a kid, and now there's a new crop of 20-year-olds. Now these guys are getting to 30, 35, 40, getting themselves in shape. And now those guys you want, because they have the financial means, they take care of themselves. Oh, even though you had probably a good man at some point and you let him get away. And look, I have no problem. Like I said, personally, I have no problems with you running the streets. No issues. You should have as much fun as you possibly can. But it will come a point where these guys are going to start asking you these questions. And guys of yesterday didn't really care about body count. The guys of today do. And if they don't care about body count, they don't want to deal with somebody. Remember Cam Newton a few months back? I can't remember how long ago it was. At some point last year. He gave that interview, I think it was $1 million worth a game, and he talked about how he wanted a woman who could keep quiet, or she didn't know how to keep quiet, and didn't know how to cook. And all of you intersectional feminists got super angry at him. Got angry at him. Oh, you all you care, or you need a woman who cook, go to your mama. Okay. You think that man, probably his football career is over, but you think that man after a full day on the practice field, after a game where people are chasing him, 300-pound linemen are chasing him, and he's having to hit the ground, get back up, hit the ground, get back up, take hits on the side, whiplash, who knows what kind of seats he'll have in the future, and he has to come home to a woman who not only can make him a hot meal, but is barking in his ear, and he's high value, according to his status. Men are very simple. They want peace of mind. A man will look, do men out there, are there men out there who are terrible? Of course there are. Are there men out there who cheat? Yes, depending upon the situation. But men are very simple. If you allow that man to be the man in the relationship, if you are cooperative to that man, you see, you want all this alpha energy. You want all this masculine. You want to give all this masculine energy. You want to you want men. You want to have all this masculine energy. You want to be the alpha. A lot of you, some of you, not all of you, but you want it with provisions. But you still want a man to do the heavy lifting. You don't want to compromise. You want to be able to yell at a man and do all these things. You want to have your bad attitude. You want to act out in public. And then wonder why it is a man, or men, I should say, don't want to come up and talk to you. All those tactics aren't going to work. You might as well stay in the dating app. I mean, I've never been on a dating app. I don't know specifically how it works. But men would rather pay for it, get a couple hours of pleasure, be on your merry way. And what do they have in the household? They have peace of mind. They're quiet. It's quiet. Nobody's bothering me. I can watch my TV in peace. I can go on the computer in peace. I don't have somebody who needs to talk to me all the goddamn time. And until some of you women realize this, a lot of you are going to be alone for a long time. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that's not fair. Okay, well, life isn't fair. Nobody's perfect. Until you learn those lessons, though, you're going to be alone. All right, let me get to the last story here. A very funny one, actually. This story is out of Cook County, which I believe is in Wisconsin. Let me see. Yes. A woman by the name of Vera Lydell, 66, was a director for food services at Harvey School District 152. Between July 20 and February 2022, prosecutors said Lydell ordered hundreds of unauthorized food orders for food items, including, get this number, 11,000 cases of chicken wings through the school district's main supplier. Oh, come on, Ma. Come on, Miss Lydell. Why would you buy 11,000 cases of goddamn chicken wings? Like, I don't... 11,000 cases. And overall, this woman's accused of stealing over $1.5 million worth of food. Of all the things to steal, I mean, couldn't you spread it out? Couldn't you, couldn't you have just, oh my God. And no less, this comes out during Black History. The second day of Black History Month is when I read this. Oh my goodness. You only get 28 days. Oh. Come on, Miss Lydell. What are we doing out here? Why are we stealing? If you're going to steal that kind of money, rob a bank. I'm not condoning violence or condoning theft, by the way. But come on. The massive fraud began at the height of COVID during a time when students were not allowed to be physically present in the school. And that's when you decide to steal, to make all these unnecessary orders when nobody's in the school. Even though the children were learning remotely, the school district continued to provide meals for the students that their families could pick up. Oh my goodness. There's nobody in the school. Who do you not think that they're watching? They're watching all this stuff. All this stuff is digital. They know every order that you make. Believing the orders were genuine, Gordon Food Services billed Harvey School District, which then paid for the food items according to the court records. Lydell then would allegedly use one of the school district's cargo vans to pick up and transport the stolen food. Oh my God. See, this is what greedy looks like. You see, if you do it once or twice, it's one thing, but when you do it repeatedly, there's a pattern. The food was never brought to the school or provided to the students. Oh my goodness. A routine mid-year audit conducted by the district's business manager in January 2022 showed the food service department had exceeded its annual budget by over $300,000. Oh my gosh. What is she? Why? You're 66. I think they're talking about over $300,000. Over $300,000, despite only being halfway through the school year. You see, if this was a 1 or 2 time thing, oh my goodness, I can't condone obviously crime, but I mean, if you're gonna do this, at least be good at it. Oh Jesus Christ, oh my goodness, and why couldn't you do this back in like December, so then it could come out in like January after the New Year's? Now it's during February. Oh. You only get 28. I know they moved Black History Month into like March to give them more days, but nobody's believing that. Oh, come on, Miss Lydell. We got to do better, man. And chicken wings, no less. Why didn't you get fruit or canned goods or something? You're just out here stealing wings. Why? Talk about 10 years for you. Now you probably, work it down, but you're going to spend your golden years in prison. Come on, man. Oh. You can't write this shit. They should make a TV movie out of this, for real. Or something that you stream on like Netflix or something like that, man. Oh. But yeah, I wanted to bring you those 2 lighter stories just because of the pretty much the first half of the show was just so intense. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to be back. I plan on being more consistent. I'll probably do 1 or 2 shows a week. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your support.
There were
Take
no
care.
shortages of people using the heart of the COVID-19 pandemic to run scams and get free money, but one woman decided she didn't need a partner in crime. She just would wing it. Kelsey Kernstein is here. She's got her blue cheese, her ranch ready for all that spice. Good morning, Kelsey.
Mitch, you really can't make this one up. A woman stole more than $1 million worth of chicken wings, and the saddest part is she stole it from one of the poor school districts in Illinois where the need is great. Now, this 66-year-old, Vera Liddell, accused of a year-long chicken wing heist, well, she worked for the Harvey, Illinois school district for more than a decade. When the pandemic hit, she was put in charge of placing the orders for food. She used the position to embezzle 11,000 cases of chicken wings, costing up to $1.5 million from the district's food provider. She even used the school cargo van to pick that food up. Parents say it's disappointing to learn that the food and money meant for students were selfishly taken.
This is the area that we live in. We live in like, middle class, lower than middle class in this area. So it really don't surprise me that somebody would try to get over, but it's kind of sad.
And we do know that stealing went on for 18 months or close to it, and the districts caught the discrepancy during an audit. But what happened to all that food is anyone's guess. No one as of now seems to know what Liddell did with all those chicken wings. Mitch.
Doggone it, that's what I want to know. Where did they all go? All right, Kelsey.
Me too.
Thank you for that one. I appreciate it. We'll get you a moist nap later. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.